Welcome everyone. Welcome to all of our admitted students and their families who might be participating here today. You are attending the North America Global Center's admitted student event for the incoming undergraduate class of 2022. So first, congratulations to all of you for getting to this point and offer to UCD, Ireland's global university, top 1% institution worldwide. And I have a fabulous team here today who will introduce themselves in just a few minutes to help support you as you work towards making your decision or supporting your decision that you've already made to attend UCD starting September 2022. So again, welcome to all. Let me go ahead and show you our team. I'll hand it over to Chelsea.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Chelsea Weaver, and I'm the Western Regional Representative. And I know this goes for all of our regional representatives that are about to introduce themselves, but we're all available all throughout the spring, both in person and virtually to meet with you at your request. So please do not hesitate to reach out to your regional representative so we can, help you make the best decision for you. We're really excited to meet you on the road as well. And I'll hand it over to my colleague now.
Hi everyone, I'm Kendall Hook. I work with the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast region. So anything down from New Jersey down to Florida on the East Coast, plus Ohio. But I am based in New York City. I'm very happy to be here with you all. So thanks for joining.
Hi everyone, I'm Bridie Troy. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names in the participant list. So thank you all so much for joining us here on a Sunday. I am based in Chicago, but I represent students and I work with all of you from the Midwest, mountain regions, all the way down to Texas. So I'm available all semester for one-on-one Zoom meetings or to meet in person. I'm going to be coming to a lot of your regions. So thanks so much.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for attending. My name is Carly Harward. I am the Northeast Regional Representative. So as you can see here, I work with students from New York up through Canada. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have throughout the spring and the summer as well. I'm available via email, Zoom, and in person also. So don't hesitate to reach out.
My name is Jim Pearson, so I don't have a specific region, but I work based out of Chicago and I oversee admissions for the whole of North America. So if you have any questions about your offers or about what next steps might be for you, I'm happy to help out with anything I can and looking forward to helping you all through this process.
So to get us started, I have two current students. They are both originally from the US and are now studying in final year or in their master's degree at UCD. So first, let's hear from Rhiannon and then from Ray. Give us an idea of who you are, where you're from, how you found UCD, and a little bit of how, I guess, from your first year to where you are now. So go ahead, Rhiannon.
Hi everyone, my name is Rhiannon. I'm from New York and New Jersey originally, going back and forth. I'm actually back in America right now because it's UCD spring break. So I'm over in North Jersey currently and I'm going back next week. I studied international commerce with Chinese at Quinn at UCD and I graduated last year and now I'm at UCD Smurfit, the graduate school, to do a master's in finance. Some of the reasons why I picked UCD in brief is that I knew I wanted to do something like international business with Chinese in college. And it was actually very hard to find a structured major in the US or elsewhere for such a program because everywhere has business with French, business with Spanish. And then my mom was suggesting, why don't you look at the UK and Ireland? Because I visited there a lot as a kid. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I looked at UCD, it had international commerce or business with Chinese. So it just kind of lined up from there. And I found that UCD offered a little bit more breadth in the curriculum than some other universities, such as University of Edinburgh, at least for business. And so here I am now, 5 years later, doing my master's.
And then we'll hear from Ray.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Ray and I'm originally from upstate New York, right on the border of Canada. And I am in my fourth and final year of geography, politics, and archaeology. I originally came into UCD as a liberal arts and science student, so I was really grateful for the flexibility because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do when I first showed up, but I took a few different classes. I kind of found my footing. I was exposed to a lot of different schools and options, and I kind of landed on where I am today, and I'm a few weeks away from graduating. So this sitting here and talking to you guys is really bittersweet, but I had no connections to Dublin when I first arrived. I kind of came here sight unseen. I just kind of was researching some things that I was interested in, and UCD came up, and I figured, hey, why not apply? And long story short, 4 years later, here I am finishing a degree. So it was a really great experience, and I couldn't be more thankful that my university experience has turned out the way it has. My course is really unique as it's so research-based, so I'm always out in the field. It's a really great mix between theoretical work and getting my hands in the dirt with geography, so you really can't beat it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. We're going to move our virtual tour to Rhiannon's old home away from home, I imagine, which is the Quinn School of Business, where undergraduate students study business. Here is an outside pan. I'm going to pause it here now and let Rhiannon talk about your academic experience through the Quinn School of Business. What was different than you thought it might be, especially in that first year? Anything that stands out to you that you think offer holders should certainly know in preparing to study at UCD?
Yeah, so because I studied commerce or got a BCom degree, I was based at Quinn primarily. Just because if you think of it, at least in the American lens of the university is an institution made up of different colleges. This college and the university, I didn't actually have all of my classes in that building itself, which is something that surprised me. So don't feel like you're going to be trapped in one building the entire time, because that's not the case. You're going to be all over the campus. I had classes in the agricultural sciences building, sometimes just for some tutorials. But anyway, some main differences between high school and especially from the first year I had at UCD. I'm not sure if Ray would resonate with this, but I know a lot of my other American friends have. I came out of a college prep school here in the States. So the way how I was kind of trained to do academically, it had a lot of pressure on what your freshman year of college would actually be like. However, I will say, just because of the way how Irish education is laid out, at least at the secondary level, so people in our equivalent of high school, they won't have as much experience in things such as referencing or doing citations and everything like that. So the first year of college, for at least my course, and I know some others, it was also kind of training you to do academic writing for the Irish system, because it was the first time that Irish students actually had to do that themselves, or one of the first times in many cases. So it did take a lot of the pressure off in terms of, I just was completely through the machine the last 4 years, doing tests, interviews, SATs, AP classes, all of that. You're going to actually have a huge weight off your shoulders when you first get to UCD, if you're anything like me, because you actually get the brakes pumped a little bit. So I had classes spanning everywhere from accounting to management to finance and marketing in my first year or two at UCD. And a lot of it is introductory level. And you're also learning how to write, for instance, or do research in the way that you're meant to for that specific field, rather than you need to learn like 10 different ways to reference while you're doing a paper. So for your first year, like definitely keep on your ball, especially if you're offered a scholarship, but you can definitely take a little bit of a break, especially in your first semester when you're getting adjusted. So don't bug yourself out too much. It's not worth the stress, because you will most likely be okay. And another big shock that I had was that continuous assessment, so like homework or interim quizzes, are not as prevalent in the Irish education system, even at the college level. And even with my master's now, that's the case. So I do have instances where 80% of my grade is determined by a final exam, which is daunting. So it's important, nonetheless, in your first year to keep on top of readings and everything. So get in the habit for sure, but you're not going to have like every 48 hours, you have like 6 hours worth of work to do. At the undergraduate level, you're not going to have that. So take a deep breath and you'll be good.
Ray, give us your experience as well coming through liberal arts and sciences. I imagine different, but maybe similar to Rhiannon's experience as well. I'm going to work on getting the famous Newman building on behind you here.
Yeah, so since I am social sciences, I am based in the Newman building, which is one of the original buildings on campus. Really great building. You'll famously get lost about 1,001 times. Me as a final year, I'm still using the colored lines on the floor, so it's just part of rite of passage. But it's a great building. Again, like what Rhiannon said, you're going to be all over campus. I think I've had a class in nearly every building on campus, so don't think you're just going to be stuck in one classroom or one section. The most you would ever really be in is first year. You'll probably be in Newman a lot with big lectures, but again, not really that daunting, and you'll get to like taste all the different buildings, which is great because all of them have really special things to offer, and you'll kind of learn preferences as you go about what buildings you like and what ones you don't. But my experience with classes very similar. I came in, I was thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be very serious, intense, hardcore. First year coming in as a North American student, you're going to be like, I feel like I'm a freshman again. The writing standards are very different. Irish education, they kind of learn how to memorize and they sit for a different exam than what we're used to in America. So we're coming in knowing what an indent in an essay is, knowing different reference styles, and you'll be very much ahead of the Irish kids on that. But don't let that trip you up, because they can sit in the library for 8 hours at a time and read thousands of pages, and that will definitely be a learning curve for you. My program was very similar in terms of I only have 2 to 3 assignments per semester per class. So I'll have 2 essays about 1,500 to 2,000 words, but they'll both be worth 60 to 50% of my grade. So you really kind of need to be able to balance out, oh, having fun and not having continuous assessment is great until you get 3 days out and you have 2,000 words you have to write. But there's a lot of great resources. I know I struggled a bit when I first came in with the level of academic writing, but the UCD library offers writing centers. So I was able to go in with my essays and works, and they would help me polish them up, kind of walk through what like academic level writing versus secondary school writing is, what people are looking for. It was really helpful when I was working on getting published. They were really great about making it as polished and nice as you can. So it's a really great resource. You can just book in, you'll get one-on-one appointments. So that was really great for me. But you kind of just have to do a lot of self-reflection. So get a diary or calendar, write down what you have to do when your assignments are due. It's a lot of self-responsibility, but honestly, once you get past it, first couple weeks in and you get organized, it gets a lot easier. So it's really different in that aspect compared to some of my friends, but I think it's a lot more valuable because I can sit with the material and digest it and reread it and really dive into it versus having to just worry about that next assignment being due. So I think that was really beneficial. And in terms of social science programs, it's really hands-on. All your professors are going to be super involved in the research and publishing process. So that's always a great benefit to have, being at the forefront of research and having to go to your professor with these questions and them giving you immediate feedback. It's really great. And I love it. And it's just the instant support that's really great for the degree.
Ray, did you, University College Dublin is quite a large institution, specifically on the Irish standard. Did you find your first year classes to be large, small, a mix? What was your experience?
So some of them were really large. So I'm kind of doing a double major and what I would consider a minor. So for my politics lectures, that class is really big, and we had anywhere from 150 to 200 kids. But and then you get to the more specialized programs. So I do cultural geography as well, and that program only has 30 kids in it. So it's a nice mix. And tutorials, if you do have the big lectures, will give you the small group atmosphere, and like that's how you're really going to get to know your classmates. So you get a best of both worlds for everything. And obviously, as you progress, you get to know the kids that you're with more and more. So.
Awesome, thank you. And actually, I know it's hard to follow along in the virtual tour because we're not walking on a path, but behind the Newman building then is some of our residence halls. on campus. We have mostly offer holders here in the room today, but anyone who has accepted your offer or conditionally accepted or plan to accept or conditionally accept your offers, that is when you become eligible to register for student housing. And you'll get separate information regarding that in the next few weeks as students accept your offers. But we'd love to hear from Rhiannon and Ray about living on campus in your first year, maybe where your favorite place to eat is as well. That's always a huge question. And how much did you cook on your own, I guess, while you were at UCD as well? We'll start with Rhiannon.
So my first year of college, I lived in Glenamina, which is behind the bus park in UCD. And I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. The way how there's a big privilege we get from being American students in UCD or studying in Europe because we get private bedrooms. We do not have to bunk with someone else. So we can gloat to all of our American friends about this reality where we even at times have our own private bathroom, which we had in Glenamina. So definitely use that to your bragging right advantage. I do definitely encourage living there, at least for your first year on campus. It's not compulsory to my understanding, the way how it is for some American universities, but you know, you can have really good relationships with your roommates. My roommate from my first year of college is actually visiting me. She's bopping around my kitchen right now behind my computer. Here now that I'm back home. So hi, Lulu. But she and I have stayed really good friends, and you definitely can explore like roommate and friend potential while at UCD. I cook a lot. Cooking is a hobby of mine to begin with. And UCD has a small grocery store on campus, and it's kind of like an equivalent of CVS, but without the pharmacy aspect to it really. So it has its own little deli counter, and then some oven meals, frozen foods, just basic necessities, and then pretty accessible to campus are other actual full grocery stores. So the equivalents of ShopRite or Stop and Shop wherever you go. And then on top of that, for food, the clubhouse actually was a favorite of mine. At the time, it was cash only, but I think with COVID, they changed that now, and it's the student pub on campus. And if you don't want to stay in campus, it's pretty easy to get into the city or some other restaurants in Dublin suburbs if you want to.
Yeah, so my first year as well, I lived on campus. I lived in Belgrove, and that is right behind the Newman building, so that was really handy for me. In terms of picking a roommate and the process and everything, I kind of made the decision that I wanted to live with all women my first year. Oh, sorry. I wanted to live with all women my first year. So you kind of go on to what I equated to Tinder for roommates, and you can see the rooms that are available, the houses that are available. You can see if anyone's booked the other rooms or not. So I booked one that had all females. So I ended up living with 2 Chinese girls and a Malaysian girl. We're all still friends to this day. I actually visited my housemate in Kuala Lumpur over the summer. So that was a really great experience. That probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't lived on campus. But it also, living on campus gives you that like sense of stability, especially as a first year student, because you're always around things happening and going on. So you never kind of feel isolated, which is a bonus. In terms of cooking, I'm definitely not like Rhiannon. I came in and I brought over mac and cheese and ramen because that was my extent of my culinary knowledge. But it's really nice because you do have kitchens, you have kettles, microwaves, stove tops, things like that. So you are able to cook because we aren't offered a traditional meal plan here. So you will learn if you don't know how yet. But like she said, you can get any kind of groceries from the grocery store, you can get food delivery, things like that. So you're never gonna be hungry. But if you don't feel like cooking, my favorite thing to get is a chicken fillet roll. It used to be $4.50, it is now €5, but they're a great lunch snack. You can get them from the Centro, which is basically a convenience store on campus. But they're so handy and they're so good. And when you have nothing else to eat, they're delicious.
There's also a Subway on campus.
So much about the culture.
No Subway anymore.
There's a lot of UCD culture being dropped here around chicken fillet rolls and living on campus and all of that. So please remember our current offer holders, if you have questions for these two students, they'll be available in the breakout rooms to explain maybe what's all of the things that they've mentioned so far are. But since you've talked about roommates and the friends that you've met, we're going to go to the student union on campus, the hub of student life. I'll bring that up here in just a moment, but if we can start with Ray, I actually heard your phone going off there. That would have been a WhatsApp ring if I'm incorrect. WhatsApp would be the main messaging source for students to know on how they'll communicate with these said friends that they are going to make at UCD. Give us an idea of how you did meet people, though, in addition to your roommates. What did you get involved in, and what have you remained involved in at UCD?
Yeah, so UCD has a club and a society for literally anything you could possibly be interested in ever. So when I first arrived, they have this thing called Freshers Week, and basically all the clubs and societies on campus set up booths and you can sign up for different things. So I signed up for the Horticulture Society, so that's all plants, and I'm also part of the rowing team. So I've been doing that since first year. So that was a really great to meet people, especially as an American, you tend to find other Americans pretty easily. We're like magnets for each other. You sit down next to the only American in the room usually, that's how it goes. But I met a lot of people just by walking up to people in my lectures or sitting down and introducing myself, because it's important to remember that everyone is also trying to make friends at the same time as you, and everyone's going to be super friendly and receptive and getting involved, even if you don't think you'll want to continue with that society or something, but they just have an event that's interesting to you. Highly recommend going, just talking to anyone and everyone, and that's how you'll make the best of friends. My best friend and my housemate currently is a girl I met on rowing first year, so it all comes together in the end, who you meet that first year, but it's super easy. Everyone is looking to chat, and it's just a nice environment to meet new people, so yeah.
Ray, Rhiannon, how did you find meeting new people, and what all did you get involved in at your time at UCD?
So when the summer before I moved there, so August 2017, July 2017, I actually found in the international students Facebook group, there was a WhatsApp group chat that I joined, and I just ended up talking to a lot of students there. And I will say it is a bit of a cultural difference between Irish students going into college and American students, where Irish students, they tend to know people from school, like secondary school, or their siblings have friends or whatnot. And that's how a lot of them actually can begin to meet each other here. Whereas obviously as international students, we're a little bit more immersed into the cold water quite quickly. But don't let that deter you, because even having other international student friends, like it was normal for us, at least when I was a senior in high school, to just look on Facebook and find other people who are going to the same college as you, and then just messaging them saying, hey, I'm going here too. Like, where are you from? Blah, 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 and just starting the conversation that way. So you can be proactive about that now, even, and having something like this is really great for that. I remember I met my current roommate in UCD at the New York one 5 years ago now, when I was just accepted in doing this in person in New York. And so you can definitely use social media to your advantage before you get to campus. And then while you're on campus, as Ray was saying, just talking to other people in your tutorials. I wasn't that active in societies, which is something I regret, but there are many opportunities for any interest you have to get involved. And even if you miss Freshers Week, you can always email them and ask to join a society. So my main college friend group was the people living on residences in my first year, and then just some people from my classes. And because I did international commerce with Chinese, the Chinese classes were actually quite small and a lot more intimate. And I was the only one in my year that did Chinese before I came to college, because I took it in high school, and that's only being introduced at the secondary level in Ireland now. So I was able to meet the other people from my classes, help them out with Chinese, meet people in years ahead of me who were studying Chinese, and then just kind of network that way. And friends lasted forever. And I'm doing the same thing now with my master's degree, because now it's a whole new group of people and I'm on a different campus. And it's the same thing, just be open to meeting anyone and talk to people in your lecture halls, commiserate with the trauma of education when it gets busy. but you'll definitely be okay. You just need to put yourself out there a little bit and use social media to your advantage now if you're worried.
Thank you so much for those encouraging words. I know that has to be something on the top of everyone's mind about meeting people. We'll get to in just a few minutes where you can meet other offer holders, possibly in person in the coming weeks. But for not final words, but just maybe some closing thoughts before we get into just a few updates that our team has. Ray or Rhiannon, what do you love most about UCD's campus, or like the most, or found, maybe the most in bragging, right? So there's a lot of amenities, and it's a really traditional campus for anyone who's not been, that would compare to a lot of US universities. But what do you all find is your favorite thing about campus? Ray, we'll go first with you, and then Rhiannon, if that's okay.
So my absolute favorite thing about campus is the green space. So being part of Horticulture Society, we have access to the Polytunnel Environmental Research Center. So UCD, believe it or not, has an entire apple orchard and nearly 12 polytunnels where they do research and conduct things. And it's like this magical secret space on campus. And in the fall, you can just go and pick apples, and it's so fun and relaxing. And it's like the best kept secret on campus.
I'd say for myself, it'd be how this is true for both the Belfield campus and the Smurfit campus, which is a bit of a ways away, where each campus is a bit of a hub. And so, you're always going to have friends living on campus. You're always going to be able to get to campus, even if you live off campus, because obviously when you choose where to live, commuting comes into play. But it does become a big part of your life rather naturally. And it's a place where even when you're busy, like I've been in the study spaces at, like, not the library, but you know how they have the little study spaces in buildings sometimes for students to study where you don't have to be quiet. I'm over there quite a lot with Smurfit, and I was a bit in undergrad as well, and it becomes your life in a natural way. And because the locations and then the amenities within the campuses, you can function really well even if you are in the grind, like getting ready for exams, you have lots of papers due. You're never going to be too far from someone and you're always going to be, like, you're going to have so much at your disposal to function really well, even when you're really stressed.
Thank you both very much. Now just a few updates from our team. We're going to start with my colleague Bridie. Let me share screen once again. There we go.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, admittedly, not the most fun part of this presentation, but nonetheless important. All of you should be able to see your tuition fees currently listed on your offer letter. And this will be your tuition each year of your degree program, so you can be confident in that. Some of you may also see a scholarship listed. If so, congratulations. And this might be your International Student Scholarship or your Global Excellence Scholarship. These scholarships will also be applied to your tuition each year of your degree. However, please make sure that you are keeping up with the GPA minimums and any requirements so that you don't lose your scholarship eligibility as you go through your program. Additionally, I would like to encourage everyone to send in their AP, IB scores, maybe updated ACT, SATs, because it may increase your scholarship eligibility. And it's worth sending in because we're not going to see your score and decide to decrease your scholarship based off of it. So it'll definitely either help or won't affect you. Additionally, UCD is on the FAFSA. So we do accept direct loans. We accept Parent Plus loans and any private loans if necessary. We do not accept Pell Grants or SEOG grants. This is not a UCD policy. We just can't use them at any international university. And the U.S. financial aid application will open on SysWeb on April 1st. So you may have already tried to open this and haven't been able to. Don't worry, it's just not available yet, but in 2 weeks, you can start your application. And the deadline to submit this will be July 31st. And in order to receive a cost of attendance to complete the financial aid application, please make sure that you have submitted your FAFSA using UCD's school code. For any of our Canadian students in attendance, UCD does accept provincial loans as well. So you can definitely reach out to us if you have any questions about those. Additionally, UCD does accept 529 payment plans, but please check with your individual provider for details. And there will be 2 mini webinars hosted this week to outline the financial aid process at UCD. This will be a short presentation followed by a short Q&A. And so feel free to join tomorrow or Saturday for these webinars, and email federalaid@ucd.ie with any of your financial aid questions. So I will pop the webinar registration in the chat right now. But yeah, if you have any questions for you, UCD is here to make this process as seamless as possible. So yeah, looking forward to working with you all. Great. All right. So students preparing to travel. It is actually pretty easy to travel to Ireland as a US citizen or Canadian citizen. You will not need a visa to study in Ireland. I see that we've had some questions about this in the chat, but you have to have a valid passport. So make sure that you, if it's expired or you don't have a passport yet, apply now. We do have pre-arrival webinars planned, so we'll go over the whole process for you. Orientation begins Monday, September 1st, but you can move in as early as begins Monday, September 5th, but you can move in as early as September 1st if you want a couple days to deal with the jet lag before orientation begins. And classes start Monday, September 12th, so a little bit later than what we're used to in America, but you definitely have some time to get adjusted to Dublin before then.
All right, thanks, Bridie. So if you think that this event is the only event this spring, that's not true. There are several other ways to engage with UCD throughout the spring semester as you're making your decision to help you make the most informed decision possible. So importantly, over the next month or so, there first will be opportunities to engage with the schools that you have received offers from. So this would be a great opportunity to mark these dates down. These types of individual Zoom meetings or webinars with the schools is an awesome opportunity to learn more about your specific programs that you have been accepted to. Our team is here to walk with you through the process, the application process, getting ready to go, etc. But the schools are the experts in the academics, obviously. So they would be great to ask questions of, especially the nitty-gritty details of your specific program. Maybe learning the similarities or differences between different programs you've applied to. So if you, if you are trying to make your decision but need that type of information in order to do so, highly encourage you to attend these. And your schools will be emailing you details when that registration information is available. You will be receiving multiple emails if you've been admitted to programs in multiple colleges, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And then we are very excited to let you know that we do have admitted student meet and greets happening in person this month. So we have over 20 meet and greet events in the next 4 weeks or so. So it's happening fast and furious. And they start as early as next weekend. So I think some Texas events, some Carolina and Georgia events are happening as early as next weekend. So if you have not already received an email from your regional representative, either at the end of last week, it will be coming by Monday. And I believe Carly just popped a PDF of all of the events into the chat as well. But these meet and greets are casual events. Some of them are smaller, but it gives you an opportunity to connect with another family or families plural in your area. So you can head over confidently to UCD knowing at least one other friendly face, connecting with your regional representatives, and at some of our larger events as well, meeting staff too. Alumni might be there, as well as exchange students who are from Ireland, but here in the States for a semester as well. So these are very exciting. We're so happy to be back on the road for them. And just be sure to register because we do need head counts for many of them. So Carly popped the link in the chat. You'll be getting emails as well, but be sure to register because we're super excited to see you guys on the road.
And then after all of that, Hopefully through all these conversations and the great opportunities you've had to connect with other students, you've decided to accept your offer to UCD, and we really hope to be able to welcome you to campus next fall. So once you are ready to commit to attending UCD, you can log in to your SysWeb account at the UC website and be able to select the program that you want to accept and accept your offer to the course. The deadline is May 2nd, so you have until then, like most other US schools. We put it on May 2nd when it's normally May 1st, so that it's on a Monday, so you have time to think about it over the weekend and contact us with any questions you have about accepting your offer and paying your tuition deposit, which for almost all courses is 500 euros. So if you accept and pay your deposit by May 2nd, then you'll have secured your place to UCD and you'll be ready to go for the fall, and we'll go through a whole bunch of next steps and what to do later. One of the important things to do is, if you have offers to multiple programs, if you accept one of them, could you please decline the others, because that might open up spaces for other students that are waiting to get into one of those courses. So if you're committed to one course and realize you don't want to do the other ones, you can not accept those courses. And then over the summer, you'll need to send in your final official high school transcripts, college transcripts if you have those, AP scores, test scores, anything like that. So if you applied with unofficial scores, or if you haven't sent them in, we'll need to receive them over the summer. Anytime over the summer before registration in August is fine, so there's no big rush. But as you graduate and get all of your test scores in, you can send those to us. If you have any questions about that, or if you have them ready to go, your counselors or your university or your high school can send them to northamerica@ucd.ie. And remember that we need official test scores and transcripts for that, so not something sent by yourself. It has to be sent directly from the institution or school. So once you do that, you'll be ready to go.